Okay, so we are recording in this beautiful Saturday, the 14th of November, and we are here today with Rabbi Shaul Praver to talk with us a bit of love and the Loves app.
Well, thank you, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And I was so moved and so inspired by the meditation that you ran the other day.
Mm.
And it really resonated with this idea of this inner power that there is within us, these universes of light. And, you characterize it as crystal beings. But there's a lot within. And the most powerful, see, I came to love as power because I work with people in incarcerated populations that are very disempowered. And sometimes they try to discover some form of agency and power in their lives through ways that are not so great, not so pro-social. And so I try to help them discover the inner power that they have that is so much bigger than the cell that they live in.
Mm.
So I did this. This was my doctorate work, my doctorate in ministry. So it was more about ministry, not academic. And it was about how to improve one's ministry through a new idea and through a project.
Mm.
So this project was called Gates of Understanding.
Wow.
The textbook that I had written in support of it is called Spiritual Guide for the Incarcerated.
Wow.
And then when I worked with the women in York, in Connecticut, the York facility, something incredible happened. And the germ, the inspiration for the Loves app, in other words, the class was one thing, but then you go and do it, and then something else happens, and it gives you the courage to try some new things. And what I had tried was to take love as a force of empowerment. So you would take just a practical case. There are like 16 women in the class, and someone will share with a great deal of anger and frustration, a lot of hot emotions, some situation going on in their lives. And then that person would be invited to come and bring their chair to the middle and tell me that story again, while I would be secretly love zapping them. And I want to talk about what it means to love zap someone. I learned that it's not a visceral thing. Okay, it's not like being an airbender, with his body involved, anything like that. But it's just purely in the spirit, and that this woman that is telling me a story that is so frustrating, so painful to her, I'm listening to each word, but I am thinking of in my case, I think of a light really bursting right into her. Okay, and it's not my light, but it's just the light of love. And I have to remain uninvolved, not seeking to have any kind of victory or any kind of credit or anything like that, any kind of ego, and just let it very calmly pass through me without any thought for what it might do or the results, or expecting a good result and saying, hey, look at that, didn't I do good, or something like that. They're trying really hard to just empty self, which is a concept in Kabbalah, which is called Tzimtzum, and to just move yourself out of the way. and just let myself be mavutal, which means like nullified. And now I am a vessel for this person, for this sacred work. And so people would see a change happening, and then they would articulate those changes of what happened. And then I would reveal what was going on inside of me. And then I would call other women to use that technique in the midst of some kind of difficult situation in their lives. And so it brought them from a place of like, you know, how dare she talk to me like that? I'll pop her in the nose, right? Something like that. To like, somebody must have really hurt her a lot. And there's nothing I really have to do. I'm just going to go read my book now. It gave space and a widening, and opened up possibilities. And so we talked about that softness inside as being the ultimate power, and that the outbursts are advertising a weakness. And so they got this point of love as power. Now I love meditation, and but see, I was looking for something that was lean and very nimble, and able to be employed on a moment's notice, not a 20-minute period of getting there. So I realize now from analyzing it, I was trying to anchor it down with some kind of a cognitive, some kind of a thought, or some kind of a feeling. And you had, in the last meditation at the end, we were told to go like this when we were in the high place, right? And so these are all things that are known, right? In meditation and spiritual practice, you come to it naturally, like you're in a very, very special place. You could almost think that you'll always be in that special place because you are there. But of course, we know that we're going to be leaving that special place, and how can we connect back to it? Some kind of a cognitive roadmap of getting there again. And so what I really focused on a lot was breath meditation. And we showed through the pulse, okay, where somebody would wear a pulse thing while they told their story. And then they would meditate, and then we would take the pulse again. And there's a dramatic change. So part of it was, kind of like proving it. Yeah, this is dope. This is the real stuff, ladies. This is what people are going to wonder, what the heck, happened to you? Where did you get this source of power from? So it's love as power. So love, this kind of love, is not romantic love, and it's not in any kind of way denigrating romantic love or physical love or any other form of love, right? This just happens to not be that kind. And so I could look at a light bulb and think that the electrical energy is being produced from the bulb if I didn't know better, right? That somehow that bulb is generating that light. But really the bulb is only a vessel for some light that was already collected. Where was it collected from? It was collected from the ionosphere. It was generated through crashing water. It was collected from the electromagnetic field, right? It's collected from another source and put into a vessel, which now can be used in different situations. So I like to speak about love as a natural entity, as natural as the thunder that cracks in the sky, the lightning that illuminates the sky, that it is something that's in the world, and that, you know, like the first discovery of it, Benjamin Franklin with his kite in the sky and getting that charged and bringing it down and lighting a lamp, that you're drawing it from a natural place. There's no light bulbs in the sky. It's just existing as an energy in the world. So that love is this force. It doesn't care what you think about it. Doesn't care if you believe it. You know, electromagnetic energy doesn't care about your political or sentiment about it. It's just is. So this is a you know, a different concept. A lot of people often feel that love is an emotion, uh, in the same way that you might think a light bulb is generating the light. So love will spark emotions, very deep emotions, and all of its different expressions. But it itself is not an emotion. It's just a raw source of power.
I
So,
love that. I love how you, yeah, I love everything that you said. And I'm so touched by this beautiful work with the women and how practical, you know, you put it, something that it's so precious. And for me, I feel that love is a frequency, almost like, as you were saying, you know, this electromagnetic field, it is a field mainly, not even a frequency. And because we are either, you know, constantly in our relations, we are reacting, right? We're not acting, we are reacting. So I love when you were saying that, um, you know, after they learn from you, instead of going and reacting to a situation where someone was rude or any kind of circumstances that can apply to all of us, right?
sure.
That can be we're driving and someone, you know, cross and this kind of things. And with what is happening in the world now, it's so easy, you know, our nervous system, it's so uh, activated, so we can so easily just react instead of coming from this place of power, which is love, kindness, and compassion, and looking at others as if someone is doing something to me, let's say quotation mark, it's because they are hurt and not because that they hate me or they don't like me or they want to attack me, you know. And so easy we engage into this narratives because we are in fact remembering this vessel that we are. And when you were speaking, I just want to
Sure.
share that as well. I was remembering this concept that I learned in Kabbalah of Ish and Isha, you know, and I was thinking about as this raw power of fire, right? Ash, and how if we just have fire without this divine principle of Yud and Hey, we actually have just the destructive ability of fire, which will be this reactive, you know, in my analogy right now will be this reactive. But when we are actually cultivating, and that doesn't mean you don't need to be spiritual or religious for that matter, you can just cultivate this connection with what it's unseen, with nature, that could be the divine to me, the way I see, I perceive. So if you don't connect with the god of religion or the goddess, you can connect with spirit or with, you know, nature, uh, and remember that that is love, and we are love as well, you know. Due to all our experiences, we go into reactive mode,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and forgetfulness that we
Mm.
are this vessel. And I'm here to say that it's not easy as we go about our, you know, everyday life, because we are constantly being triggered by situations. So this is something we must really cultivate. And I love how simple, as you said, it can be, that you can just take a moment, you know, instead of react, stop, maybe connect with this heart, um, womb, mm, navel area for men, you know, because men don't have a womb, but still this like center, feel
Mm.
this centerness. And I am, love is my power. I don't need to react to this person is doing for me, what or whatever they're doing. I don't need to engage to that. I can, yeah, I can just be this vessel, which I would say for me as a mystic, the vessel for the divine, you know, the
Mhm.
vessel for this divine love field.
Yeah. So I think that we're very fortunate to live in a time when the sciences have really opened a window to the
Mm,
nature of the universe in its physical form, which really complements the spiritual concepts that we have and we're talking about. Um, can I read something that I
yeah,
think captures a lot? This just
please.
a poem here. So
Is that from your book?
this is a just a standalone poem. This
Okay.
particular thing.
Mhm.
What I had spoken about so far was really more, kind of the first chapter of establishing what kind of love am I talking about and what kind of zap, and then it goes into other chapters. But here I just talk about words because we are speaking words, human communication. As much as words fail us, it's often the a big part of how we communicate. Now, why would people go on to Zoom if there wasn't also a body language, the way that we express through our eyes, our body, our movement, modulation of our voice? Sure, so much comes through all of that, and that's why we do Zoom. If we were able to get the whole package just through sound, then we wouldn't really care so much about the visual. But here I say words of silence. So what kind of word could there be, from silence? It seems like two opposite things. Um, it's kind of very Zen like. Um, words of silence. What would a word be if it was not uttered? Sounds beyond time. Um, we live in time, uh, yet there are some things that moments in time that really transcend time. There are certain experiences in our lives on the timeline that will weigh in and have greater influence, positive and negative, over the entire course of our lives, which shows that uh, sounds or anything in life is not all equal. You could have moments of meditation that are transformative. Mysteries in broad daylight. This is a very Kabbalistic
Mhm,
thought
mhm,
that it's all there in front of us, but we don't see it.
mhm,
And you talked about frequencies. You could have a radio, but if you're not, you don't turn the dial to the right frequency, you won't hear anything. Or if you don't look with the right eyes, the right vision, if you don't know what you're looking for, it will all pass you by.
mhm,
When we learn a new word, suddenly that word is found all over the place, and
mhm,
we almost feel as if they started using that word after we learned it. But of course, we could just laugh at ourselves and know that that word was around, but we just never noticed.
mhm,
Stars never touched. So we look at the stars, and there's a tremendous space between us and them, yet they play such a vital role in our lives. We can still see them, although we haven't touched them with our hands. We've touched them in other ways with our spirit. So we're not just our hands, we are our eyes, we are our spirit. And what we see in the modern progression of science and spirituality is that we move more and more away from the physical. Technology gets smaller and smaller. You used to have a DVD, a record, then a DVD, then no more DVD. Now it's just a wave. Pretty soon, you just blink your eye and you could play whatever song you want. We move more and more away from the physical. And as we do, we discover greater and greater power of the universe, the physical universe, and of our own spirit. And just like there's spaces between stars and us, there's spaces in our own spirit. Physicists tell us that even in the structure of an atom, there's such a space between its elements as big as the space between the stars themselves. Yet it all doesn't really matter. It still everything comes into formation. Thoughts as fortresses that, a fortress is a place of security. So when we anchor ourselves to a thought, to a feeling, that becomes like a fortress, becomes a way that we could go out into the world and be retain, keep our treasure. You use that word, protected, in the fortress, because it's so valuable and so precious. Sees transfixed in reflections. So how can a sea be transfixed? So this gets into the Gaia consciousness that, that the universe is a consciousness, is a soul, and the sea can be transfixed. The sea can be curious. The sea can be furious. The sea can be all different things. The sea can visualize, can see its reflection in the sky, and the sky can see its reflection in the sea. So this is a different way of seeing the world, not as objects, but as interacting things that are really part of a whole. So that there is this reflective nature and intrinsic knowledge of all things, in all things. So this is, quite different. It's de-objectifying existence. That it's a different way of seeing the world. And then in our meditation, it was butterflies. So I chuckled when you said that. I think it was another member of the group. Butterflies and dreams, and what does it mean when you see a butterfly? These are archetypes that speak a lot to us. So a very important path of spirituality is becoming aware of dreams, because there you see your true self, unedited. That sometimes may be difficult to see, and sometimes very, very pleasurable to see different things. And it also shows us, where we are. If we are working, when we have pleasurable dreams, it means we're filling ourselves with, good spiritual food. When dreams are kind of stuck on the ground and can't fly, so that it is a wake-up call to, to do the spiritual practice, to meditate, to pray, to read, to reflect, to write. That these are exercises for the soul. And it goes on. Rainbows in prisons, innocence emancipated. I feel like we have lost our innocence. And we just saw a movie, an old movie about people before technology and how innocent it was, and
Mm,
the sense of wonder of
mm,
nature.
mm,
Um, Freedom strolling through gardens. Again, freedom is not a static thing. So
mm,
freedom is a force,
mm,
right? Liberty adorned with flowers, love beautified with perfume,
mm.
people belonging, words delivering compassion and purpose. So I've become a real believer in the language of poetry being the
Mm.
language of the soul.
It's beautiful.
So thank you.
Yeah, I would love to actually maybe invite you now to just read through it without explaining. I mean, I love the explanation, and I'm pretty sure that the ones that will watch this video are going to appreciate that. But let us just like bathe in these beautiful words that are that holds this paradox of things, right? But they merge together. It's kind of like webbing and flowing together. So I really want to just like hear them all together, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Words of silence, sounds beyond time, mysteries in broad daylight, stars never touched, spaces in spirit, thoughts in fortresses, seas transfixed in reflections, souls living forever, butterflies in dreams, initiates of wisdom schools without walls or degrees, omnipresent, ineffable name, wind in ether, rainbows in prisms, innocence emancipated, genies poured from lamps, freedom strolling through gardens, liberty adorned with flowers, love beautified with perfume, people belonging, words delivering compassion and purpose.
Wow. So beautiful.
I left a few out before because they would have taken too long.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we can share that as a post, as a written, so people can read as well. It's very beautiful. I love poetry, and yeah, and in the last few years of my life, yeah, that's what I experience. This quite often I don't really find words to describe, as there is this webbing and flowing, this like expansion and contraction, and sometimes the experiences are so um, yeah, there are no mental or words that can, to me at least, there's I've been working a lot recently with sounds and just expressing through sound, and that's working really good for me, as um, yeah, there are it's almost like there are no words in our vocabulary that
Mm,
can describe or transcribe some of the feelings and experiences. And I like to speak about this innocence that you mentioned, because this is so relevant as well, as is the love zap in this moment. And want to reflect back how you were speaking about this. I don't know how, I don't remember how you mentioned, but it came to me that, yeah, yes, tuning in, right, to the station, to the radio
yes,
station. So
yes.
with everything that is happening now in the world, we are and this is not just for now, but especially this year with this whole I like to say transformative period, we are constantly being put into this frequency of fear, right? So of being afraid. And I'm not in the United States at the moment, but I also know with everything that is happening politically and everything, that it's part of the transformation. And we can't just sit here and only speak about love and deny all the other things that are absent. how am I saying that?
Yeah,
Absence
absolutely.
of love. Yes,
Oh,
absence
it's
of,
in. Mhm.
yeah, the lack of love.
Mm,
So those are also important things. But as we continue to navigate this transformative waters, we have to keep in mind that yes, we can choose what station we want to tune in. Do we want to stay on this fear, separation, and worrying about what is the outcome it will be for the future, or do we want to actually stay on the love frequency, not denying what is happening in the world, being aware of what is happening, but choosing to stay with love? And I think what you share in the workshop you were giving, if I understood correctly, with the innates, the women, it's like, yeah, that there is an option. You can react or you can actually act from this place of love, and that can be applied with everything right now. So we can react to the current circumstances in the world, or we can actually remain into this place. Okay, I am choosing to envision a world that it's harmonious, that is inclusive, that it's cooperative, that chooses cooperation
mm,
instead of staying in that, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I speak from witnessing also within myself, looking what's happening in the world and having moments of despair and saying, oh my God, what's it going to be like? Where am I going to go? What to do? So and that's completely normal. We are humans. We are having this full spectrum um, experience of feeling all sorts of emotions, and that's okay. I mean, I've also learned in my personal journey that I'm not to deny my emotions, because whatever anger, frustration, despair, grief, they hold wisdom. They have gifts to share with me. So if I just suppress them, they will come out in maybe an illness or in any other way. So, but how much do I want to remain in that? That's the key. How much do I want to remain in that station? So I can listen a little bit of the music of grief, right? And see what are the messages grief has to share with me. But if I'm going to stay there for a very long time, it's not going to support my growth and the growth of people around me. So I just wanted to share that was coming through, as it's really important and relevant for current situation in the world.
yes,
And
that's
and
very true.
for some of us, it's easy to zap, right? It's easy to be in that. I love this, by the way. It's easy to be in this, it's easier to in some cases, it's easier to be in this container and holding this uh, field of love and like vibrating out into the world. And then that would be cases that it's not easy and it's challenging, and then we just keep working with that muscle and strengthening that muscle, so then we can, yeah, return to this, I would say, primordial innocence that
Mhm.
we've lost.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all the journey, and the being in that place of love is a great treasure and a wonderful thing. And that's why I really enjoyed being in your meditation. It brought me right into that treasure, that treasured place within. And sure, there are all kinds of emotions that we have to name, all kinds of feelings, some very exalted and some not so exalted. We're not completely cultivated. There's parts of us that need to have that cultivation, but this is the medicine, this is the yoga of the soul. This is it's going to work. So we just keep working on it.
Yes, I keep on muting because I have yeah, some noises coming from the kitchen. So yes, that's very important. So tell us where we could find the Loves app And
Certainly. It's on Amazon, and
mhm,
it's just the Loves app,
mhm.
harnessing the power to transform the world.
Oh, wow.
It's a
Yeah.
very short book,
Okay.
but it's it's terse. It's not just rambling. It's
Okay.
very directed to a specific science of how you can do this,
Mm.
and that we don't need a lot of people to do it. We have an idea that if only 36 people mastered the Loves app, we it's so powerful that you would change who's the president, you would change the economy, you would change everything.
Really? And so who is we? I'm just curious, like we.
Whoever uh, picks up the message and uses it
Okay.
without
Uh-huh.
without seeking any kind of honor.
Okay. But I was actually referring like we, because we said we have this theory that we only need 36. So I have like I'm very
Oh,
curious person. So yeah,
oh yeah.
who is we? And then why 36? Like, is there something about this number?
It is a Kabbalistic
Yeah.
idea
Okay.
that at all times there are 36 hidden. They're hidden because they're not getting an ego hit from what they do. Okay.
Mm.
Even if they are public or private, but they're still hidden because they're completely pure. They don't even know. To them, it's just simple. Of course, I love everybody. Of course, I send everybody loves ups.
Mhm, mhm,
And, it's just they're very exalted souls. They could be
mhm,
the person that picks up your trash,
mhm.
but they're hidden in the society. And as long as there's 36 people of that kind, then the world will not destroy itself.
Mm, beautiful. I like that. Also, 36, it's nine, right? Completion. So 3 plus 6, it's nine. And I love this idea, yeah, of that the person might be doing that and not even being aware of that because it's so pure and innocent and just their nature that they don't realize. Yes. Wow.
A paradox.
Yes. Again. Yes. Yes.
If you think you're one of them, then you're not.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to be one, think that you're not one.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Beautiful.
So thank,
Okay. Yeah.
thank you, Nicole.
So yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm just coming to mind now. Maybe you want to tell us, or yeah, I'm not sure if this is something. I'm pretty sure maybe there's some um, something you would like to guide us through, like very briefly. It doesn't need to be a
Mm,
meditation. It can be a song. It can be something that we can actually connect with that
mm,
love. You know, something that can support us in
mm,
actually being this vessel or opening to
mm.
to the vessel that we are.
So,
No pressure, just
so
if you feel.
I like the idea of the breath,
Hmm.
and I think this is my anchoring it, and that if you take they call it a a circular or a square breathing, but it's really much deeper than that. I think it's more rectangular actually. So it's a breath that is taken slowly through the nostrils, as long as you're not stuffed up, and it's let out very slowly, as if you are blowing through a straw. And before you exhale it, you pause for several minutes, several seconds, maybe like 4 or 5 seconds, and so there's the technique, and then the cognitive part is that this is the breath of life that is breathed into you at all times, so that it is a source of life that is there for us to become aware of. It requires our tuning into it. So I would invite you to take the breath through the nose, holding for a few seconds, and then letting out very, very slowly without without fainting, of course. And then, and just settling into that kind of a change, and sort of note where you are, how you're feeling now physically. And it's only one breath. So it's about a very fast way of connecting in. So here we go with the breath through the nostrils. I'm emptying and I'm filling. I'm holding. Exhaling. And I'm staying with that change in consciousness. And now thinking of the breath as the source of my soul, and that the entire spirit of the universe, godliness, is coming into me, filling me in a way that is totally appropriate for my vessel, for who I am. And now I am energized with that spiritual electromagnetic field.
Beautiful. I love it. I didn't understand that I was supposed to breathe out through the mouth. So I did first time through the nose, but very imagining that I was like very just like you guided, but through the nose. And I really felt this paradox of the inhaling and feeling the body with oxygen, and then stopping the breath for like 5-7 seconds and like not breathing, right? So just that stillness.
Oh, yeah.
And then releasing very gently. And then on the release, I just really felt myself in this like ocean of love and oneness.
Yeah.
So that was really beautiful. I mean, this is me trying to describe the sensations that I felt. But that was, yeah, this on the out breath, there was just this really feeling of oceanness, like this oneness. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's such a pleasure to spend this time with you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So till next time, shalom. I'm going to stop the recording. Yes, thank you,
Have a
everyone.
great day.